This is Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper. It is April 28th, 2024, and I want to do a video this evening on what is a Lone Wolf Prepper, because I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about what a Lone Wolf Prepper really is. When I started prepping 30 years ago, I never figured myself as a Lone Wolf Prepper. I never really knew what one was, to be honest with you. But as my prepping skills increased, and I became more aware of prepping, you might say, and became more aware of what kind of person I was, it all led to being a lone wolf. Now, when I was married and I had my children, it would have been a family unit, but it still would have been a single family. It wouldn't have been no mag. And now, not being married and my kids being all adults and living on their own, doing their own thing in their own states, now I am here by myself. But where did being a lone wolf start? You know what we all are? We don't think we're super Rambos or anything like that. Nothing like that. We're outcasts. We're outcasts from society. You know, we're the person that was in high school sitting in the cafeteria eating lunch by themselves and stuff. Learned at a young age that the only ones they knew they could really count on was themselves. That's where Lone Wolf Prepper starts. It's not, oh, I just feel like I have better chances on my own. No, we've been living a life on our own for a long time. You know, in the service, in the Marine Corps, I had 3 main friends. And I would say they were all lone wolves. We kind of clung together, our own little group. But we were very independent of ourselves too, and we didn't follow the other one. But, you know, it's like you say, we don't feel that we're superhuman and that we rise above the other human being. It's just we don't want to be around the other human beings. I don't trust them. You know, I have been learning skills my whole life. You know, first growing up, gardening, canning, butchering poultry and stuff. That was just something we had to do for work. Working in the cold, working in the heat, it didn't matter. Building up our endurance. You know, and then when we get done working, I'd always seem to run off by myself. Had my own little fort in the grove where I spent my own time. Being alone doesn't bother me. But skills are important if you're going to be a lone wolf. Very important. First, how to defend yourself, both with the Second Amendment and with your hands. You got to be skilled in both. You got to be skilled in navigation. You know, it's not that hard. If you got a map too, it's really easy. A map and a compass, and you know where you're at, and you know where you're going. Easy as can be. Or if you got to look up at the sky to navigate by the stars or the sun, you need to be able to do that. You know, horses, I feel, is very important for being a lone wolf. You know, if I got somebody on foot that's tracking me, one thing, it's easy to lose a tracker. But on a horse, I'm going to be able to outpace them, no problem. Then you got that extra, being a lone wolf, how do I say this? You use your animals to help with your security. I mean, when I'm out riding my horse, that horse knows way before I do something's around there. I go off him. He's my first alert. And then, you know, horses is important. And also, first aid. Now, of course, being in the Marine Corps, if you are a grunt, you're basically an EMT on the battlefield too. You know, extensive first aid training is important. But, you know, if my appendix goes or, you know, something happens that I can't deal with, well, then I guess I'm going to meet my maker. And I think all lone wolves are secure with that thought that meeting their maker isn't, the scariest thing in the world. I'm not saying scary for some people, but some people sure do a lot of things trying to avoid it. They do a lot of goofy things like, I don't know, take a clot shot. But, you know, I'm not going to be a lone wolf the whole time. When this all blows up and the dust settles, then I have a place where I'm going to homestead a few hundred miles from here. But I'm safe out here. Being alone doesn't bother me. Being around people stresses me out. So why would I sit there and join a mag when I don't trust people? Yeah, I have the skills to offer a mag, lots of skills to offer a mag. But I know those skills I have that I've learned will get me through a rough spot. The last thing I want to deal with, is a whiner that says I can't or I won't. No way. You can have your mag if that's the way you prefer, that's fine. I'm a lone wolf out here. What would a lone wolf in the city be like? I would never want to experience that. Because out here I can avoid people. It's easy to avoid people if they ever came out this far. But being in the city as a lone wolf, to get out of that city alive, I would think you're going to have to take a lot of lives. So, a big city lone wolf, my hat's off to you. Because I can't even handle going to a big city. I was in New York City one time. Get this, I had to go to an airport, right? I can't remember which one it was, JFK, LaGuardia, or I think there's a military one there on that same stretch. Anyway, I was middle of the night, lost and stuff. I got so frustrated. It was 1 o'clock or 2, it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I pulled off an exit the street just before going over to the Brooklyn Bridge. And there were a bunch of black guys on. First people I saw, a bunch of black guys on the corner. I'm talking Clark W. Griswold Vacation. And I got out of the truck and I said, how the hell do I get to the airport? I said, I've driven by it. I can't figure out how to get there. I think they were so shocked. But they were very polite. And they helped this white boy out. And my white ass got to where I was going. Don't tell me people can't get along. I guess I learned that from, that was crazy what I did. And they were the very polite people when they could have sat there and, if I would have believed the stereotypes. But anyway, back to being a lone wolf. That's what I am. That's what I've been since I was young. That's how my personality has developed. And that's where I'm at my best. Now, when society all comes back, I got skills to offer on the other side. And maybe then people will be nicer to each other and we'll be able to trust each other. And a handshake will actually mean something again. When that world comes back, then my lone wolf days are over. But until then, no way. When stuff gets bad, the thing I have to fear the most is people. Same with all of you. You know it too. You better really trust the ones in your mag. Because, it's not like when this all comes down, starts happening, people all of a sudden are going to start being good and not sit there and try to hurt their fellow man. Just be careful. Because all us good people need to be on the other end of this. And as a lone wolf, I'll survive. It's not for everybody. It's not for something I picked when I started prepping. It's just something, as I found out, going along prepping. That's what I am. I've had a long time to prep for this. I don't fear. I have confidence in myself and my abilities. So that's what makes a lone wolf. A social outcast that has, you know, basically he feels been living alone his whole life and can't wait for the day when he's sitting in his dugout, in his chair, reading his Western by his lantern. No electricity, no cell phones, no society, and no people for a while. Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. Anyway, this Lone Wolf Prepper out.